Are you ready to transform your summer into an epic splash-tastic adventure? Say goodbye to wasteful, single-use water balloons and hello to the ultimate in reusable, eco-friendly fun with reusable water balloons. Check out the link in the video description to get yours on Amazon today.
The Democrats are an utter clown show who took a dump on democracy by forcing Joe Biden out, an ex-Trump advisor blasted today. Sebastian Gorka slammed the U.S. party of government for trying to parachute Kamala Harris in as Mr. Biden's replacement, despite no one having voted for her as a presidential candidate. And on Never Mind the Ballots, the staunch Republican clashed with Mr. Biden's pal Bob Mulholland as he accused the vice president of being the face of open borders. Hitting out at Mr. Mulholland, Mr. Gorka said, "You just ripped up democracy and took a big old dump on it by saying you're going to select the candidate at your convention without one Democrat voter having elected her to be their candidate. That is the utter disdain the Democrats have for democracy. What a complete and utter clown show." Ms. Harris, 59, is the front-runner and only person so far to put their name forward to replace Mr. Biden. The outgoing president, Bill and Hillary Clinton, and swathes of Dem grandees have already thrown their weight behind her. Democratic Party rules don't allow Mr. Biden to simply pass on the baton to the vice president. She will have to convince nearly 4,000 delegates and 700 superdelegates to support her and name her nominee. President Biden has finally heeded calls to drop his bid for re-election, throwing the 2024 election into chaos. He has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris, but naming a new Democratic nominee won't be a simple process. Here's what's next after Biden's stunning announcement. Biden secured nearly 4,000 delegates by winning state caucuses and primaries earlier this year. He was set to officially be named the Democratic nominee at a virtual vote ahead of the Democratic National Convention, which begins on August 19. Democratic Party rules don't allow Biden to simply pass his 3,896 delegates to Harris or another candidate. Harris will now have to convince those nearly 4,000 delegates and 700 superdelegates to support her and name her nominee. However, delegates are free agents who can choose to support whichever candidate they want, likely without input from voters at this stage since primaries and caucuses were already held. All eyes are now on the previously planned virtual vote, where the Democratic Party could choose a nominee before the DNC begins. Biden's endorsement of Harris will likely sway delegates, and no one has publicly challenged her as a candidate, but delegates are not required to back her. Even if the virtual vote isn't held, the party could still choose Harris or another candidate before the convention. If Democrats don't name their nominee before the DNC, it'll be the first open and contested convention since 1968. But critics have accused the party of a stitch-up that will guarantee members only have one pick. Governors Gavin Newsom and Gretchen Whitmer, whose names were rumored to be on the list of potential presidential candidates, have endorsed Ms. Harris's campaign. In an explosive clash, Bob Mulholland, a pal of Mr. Biden, called Mr. Gorka a bald, white, angry male. The Vietnam veteran and Democratic National Committee member insisted Ms. Harris will be hitting hard at November's election and pounding away on Donald Trump's record. Mr. Mulholland said, "We're going to be talking a lot about Trump and his record. We'll be going after him all over, especially on reproductive rights." The friend of Mr. Biden also argued that Americans won't vote for a candidate who had multiple marriages, multiple affairs, and multiple kids with multiple women. Hitting back, Mr. Gorka accused Ms. Harris of completely failing to get a grip of illegal migration across the U.S.-Mexican border. He blasted, "She was the point person, the Czarina for the border. Oh my dear Lord, this is the face of open borders, a woman who has allowed 20 million illegals into the country. People won't be voting on how many ex-wives Trump has." Turning his rage towards Mr. Mulholland, the ex-Republican aide added, "Screw yourself, you sad old sack. Screw you." It comes as Ms. Harris today addressed the public for the first time since Mr. Biden bowed out of the presidential election race and endorsed her. She accepted Mr. Biden's endorsement hours after the president shockingly ended his re-election bid following mounting pressure from Democrats and donors who called on him to step down. The vice president grew.